Hello and welcome to Thinking Outside the Pod, episode 48.
48. Man.
We're getting closer and closer to our 52, our anniversary episode, and steadily working on that. Gonna turn up the heat on that, working on that at some point.
I may actually start doing something on that.
Yeah.
Finally, I think my schedule's about to scheduleize, so I will have definitely some more time to, hopefully, in theory, I should have enough time to start doing some more stuff with the podcast.
But yeah, the anniversary episode should be good. We hope.
Mediocre at best.
It's our first time really doing anything like this, so we want to try our best on that. So we'll get
we're
that.
winging it. So
Yeah,
we'll have something for you. Whether or not it'll be good, I don't know. We don't know.
At the very least, there'll be audio recorded that you can listen to.
Yes.
But episode 48 is this episode. I will be the host for this episode, Jimmy, and I'm joined by
just Brandon.
Brandon.
Fish, Brandon Fish, whatever you want. Fisher. I don't remember what the hell you guys call me ever. Jeez.
Yeah.
Lilziak the third. Changes every day.
Changes every time. Well, depending on our moods, your name changes.
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on, I could be 2 feet away and it'll be something else. I mean, it seems to be everywhere.
You're too far away. Your name now is too far.
Who knows? I mean, it's one of those, of every place I go, I come up with some sort of new nickname. They're all pretty close to each other, so at least I can remember it. But it's like I go to a new place and somebody calls me something different. I have to stop and go, oh yeah, that's right. That's what people call me here. Okay.
Yeah, same with me. And it started out like in school because I didn't really care what they called me. Yeah. So the teacher, like sometimes they'd call me Jimmy, which is the name I usually go by, but sometimes I wouldn't tell them I go by Jimmy, and it'd be James on the thing, so I'd have to remember they're like, James? I'd be like, oh, yeah, in this class I'm James. And then at work, I just gather nicknames like crazy, and they're not even that close, so I don't even have the luxury of being close, Fisher and Foster and things like that. I'm like, some people will call me Eddie for some reason,
Eddie.
or Jimmy Whispers. I mean,
yeah.
I get a lot like that. So, but sometimes like Eddie or Armando. Someone called me a couple times, and I was just like, whatever.
I wonder. I think I might know who, but
yeah. Well, you know both the person who called me Eddie and the person who called me Armando. You know of them both, but I won't. It's fine. But some interesting news next week.
Next weekend, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, PAX South here in San Antonio, which is
huge news for San Antonio.
I was gonna say, it's one of those for you nerd guys. Hopefully, you guys are excited. I don't know. I was excited. Last year when they announced it? I mean, unfortunately, I had to hear the day after they announced it. Of course, all the 3-day passes were sold, but luckily, you could still buy 3 individual passes, of course, for like $30 more. But it's like, damn it! But nope, I got them in the mail earlier this week, so I'm ready to go.
Oh, nice! And I saw on the schedule you got your days off already, so
I'm ready to go.
You're all good.
We're getting some friends from up in Austin. We're gonna go hang out in the Riverwalk all weekend, so that's gonna be.
PAX South, first PAX South ever, and it's luckily the city that we're in.
I know, here in San Antonio. I would have, because I remember hearing a while ago rumors that they were doing a PAX South. So this has been in plan for I don't know a couple of years now. Because I didn't follow it anymore because I thought they're just like we can formulate anything. But then next thing I know it, last year they're like, oh hey, we're doing it, and guess what? It's in San Antonio, Texas. Which I'm like, whoa! I thought it would have been in Dallas or even Austin. Is what. Dallas before Austin, but I would have expected it to be in one of those 2 places. But it's like, no, they're doing here at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center.
Very nice. And PAX, I mean, that's a huge convention, but it's usually northeast, right?
Well, there's now 4 of them. There's PAX Prime, which is up in Seattle, Washington. There's PAX East, which is in Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. I don't remember what the one that's in Melbourne, Australia is called, but there's a PAX convention there. Why there, I don't know.
PAX Down Under.
I don't remember. Something. Like it's something weird like that. And then now there's PAX South in San Antonio, Texas. From the sounds of it, I don't think they're going to do anymore because surprisingly enough, doing 4, I'm surprised they were even doing 4. That's especially as big of conventions as they are. That's a huge thing. I mean, they've got a darn convention pretty much one for each season.
Okay, yeah, and PAX, what is it? I know it started out with Penny Arcade, right?
Yeah,
the guys that started Penny Arcade, the webcomic.
The webcomic, yeah, they kind of did that. From what I remember hearing, is it kind of started off as like when E3 and stuff like that started becoming more of media conventions and stuff like that. They decided to do the Penny Penny Arcade Expo, which is supposed to be more of a convention for gamers, as opposed to for the fans, not necessarily just for the press. And and they of course they invite like game developers and stuff like that. They'll come and show off their stuff. So it's more of it's an expo. So I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of developers there.
But it's gaming.
It's gaming and stuff like
overall.
that. Yeah, it's all sorts of games. It's not just video games. I mean, it's also board games and stuff like that. It's probably going to be a little bit of comic book stuff there, but it definitely is a video game convention though.
Very cool.
So I'm excited because it's definitely Rooster Teeth from Austin. They're going to be coming down.
Yeah.
The guys from one of my favorite websites, GiantBomb.com, they're actually going to be there, which I was like, whoa! I would not have expected them to.
Very cool.
Go, but that's cool. I'm definitely going to have to try to check out that panel. I'm super excited for that. So I've always wanted to see them.
Yeah.
Live.
Well, yeah, it's like something you see online every day, and they're going to be like in our backyard.
I know, that's awesome.
It's
like,
crazy. Wow. Definitely get pictures, and
I'll try to get pictures. I've no guarantees on video. Because it's one of those. Unfortunately, I'm going to be going with a couple of friends. So I mean, it's one of those. Unfortunately, sorry guys, I decided to make the choice that I'm going to enjoy the first PAX South to go and enjoy it. I mean, I really wanted to do a bunch of videos, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, this is the first PAX South.
I don't want to work.
I don't want to work the entire. I mean, I'll be more than happy to go and take pictures and stuff, and then we'll figure out something to do with the pictures. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do any sort of coverage. Maybe next year. Depending on how this year goes, I'll have a better idea of what's going on. Because I've never been to a PAX convention, so it's one of those of, hopefully next year I'll shoot to get a media press badge, so then I can have a little bit more free reign of doing stuff.
And access to more like personal interviews and stuff.
Because plus
they're even possible.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, because looking up on the website and stuff like that, you technically don't need a media pass to do video and audio, but I think for the type of stuff that I would want to do, I think I need a pass. So
yeah, like the actual putting it together and getting it broadcasted.
Yeah.
That might need some more credentials.
Probably. I don't
Maybe.
know. I couldn't find anything that could confirm nor deny that, but at least this year will be kind of a let me see, because assuming if this year goes well, it should come back again next year, so I'll have a better idea of what's going on, so I'm not just, I've never done convention coverage before, so it's one of those of, I have no idea how it all works, so.
And you don't want to learn it on, like, the first PAX in San Antonio.
When it's going to be crazy, going to be super crowded, and probably be crowded again next year. But yeah,
I don't want to worry about it.
Yeah, not this year. But like I said, I'll definitely get some pictures, and we'll put a video together, or we'll just do a slideshow.
Or just talk about it. And don't get too wasted. I know you'll you get blackout drunk.
That's Patrick. We can talk about that. We can talk bad about him since he's not here today.
Oh yeah, he was running late, so we got started. He may join. He may not. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's fine. But yeah, so that's interesting. Definitely get back the week. It'd be a couple episodes out that will get you back and talk about it.
Next weekend I'll be off, and then the following weekend I should be back. So.
Okay, yeah. So we'll
2 weeks.
We'll get that, and like I said, it should be interesting. At least like who you see and kind of a big name convention in San Antonio and. We don't get that many, so
I know. Yeah, I mean,
we get a couple.
We get some of the smaller ones, but
Alamo Con or whatever that is.
Yeah, was Alamo City Comic Con?
Yeah,
you get that now. That started last year was the first year, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty recently.
Yeah, it was pretty recent. So I mean, that's pretty exciting. I'm super psyched that these conventions are starting to come, because now it's like great now because like with QuakeCon. That's been what my friends and I have been going to for the last 5 years, but the registration process is starting to become a big pain in the ass, where it's like, unless you're there right when it opens, your chances of getting a seat in the BYOC, which is our big thing that we do, which is a big giant LAN party, are very, less the longer you wait. So, I mean, unless you're literally there right when registration opens up and you get in the queue, you may not get it. And because last year, one of my friends, he got in the queue, I think about 10, 15 minutes after it opened. He didn't get a seat.
Oh, my God, yeah.
But me and my two other friends who were there literally right when it started.
Refresh.
I mean, yeah, it's refreshed and it says you're in the queue, and then you just sit there and wait. Because with that, I actually had a scare because I was doing it on my phone, which never again do it on my phone. But after I got through and I registered everything, and when I refreshed the page, or it stuck, and so I refreshed the page, and so I was like, "Oh crap! Did my registration go through?" And then luckily I logged back on the website, and it's like, "No, it went through." I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "I waited here for 45 minutes to get signed up, to get to the last step, and then lose it."
I hit the refresh button once too many times. Oh, that's like mobile banking and stuff like that, or anytime you pay online. It always says, don't refresh this page because it might pay double or something like that.
It was one of those it got stuck at the very last process. So like right after it sent the information is what it looked like. Then it got stuck, and so I was like, oh, thank God, at least it sent the information. I was like, oh man, I was gonna be so ticked if it's like I had my spot, I had it.
It was within reach.
I was like,
one step away.
So I was like, no, I got in line. I did it right. And it's just like, never again. Won't do it on phone.
Yeah,
very very bad idea. Don't do. If it's something at least important like that, don't do it on your phone.
Yeah, get to a desktop.
I almost learned that the hard way.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Because we did our fantasy football draft, and a lot of people did theirs on the phone, and network connection breaks or something like that. And, I mean, we didn't put any money on it or anything, but it's still important to get a good draft on that. So,
sure.
No, yeah, don't do anything like that requires time-sensitive anything on something that can lose connection just by moving it a little bit, or battery or anything like that. So, but yeah, so awesome. I can't wait to hear everything that went on, see pictures and things like that. But to kind of get back into kind of a regular episode thing, I online there's this video that was put out, and it kind of went viral. I kind of in personal, like I have a relation to it kind of. Just because I've been in that kind of position, not necessarily his position, because it was a pizza guy video. It's been out a few days now, where a pizza guy was kind of being harassed by these people for not giving them change or something along those lines. But the circumstances were kind of weird, so it was understandable his position, not really theirs. But then they uploaded a video saying, we want to get this guy fired. Yeah. But it backfired on him.
Yeah. Because Jimmy showed it to me right before we did this. And, I definitely, the company or whatever, they definitely went way too overboard. I mean, like you, I've worked in service positions like that where it's like come on, and some of those jobs, it's like I'm getting paid minimum wage. Why are you giving me so much trouble? It's something that I will try to help you as best as I can, but there's only so much I can do.
Exactly. Yeah, I was in the service department, customer service department of a electronics store. So I would get angry customers all the time. Yes. And like they'd come at me angry. So I'm like, God, calm down.
Hold on. I can't help you if you're yelling at me.
And with like defective products that need to get repaired, there's time frames. Like we have to order parts, or we have to send it to the manufacturer, and they have to send it back to us. So we are kind of like the middlemen in some of those situations, and like them yelling and getting angry we can't do anything quicker. Yeah. We can find out a status from a company and like what's going on with this equipment that we sent to you. But other than that, it's not helping. But it's kind of understandable because it's like they paid money for this and whatnot, but I could never be like that to a service person just because I don't know.
Well, you're not a very angry person.
That's true. Something would have to go really wrong.
It's either that or you're just seething on the inside and you just don't let anybody show. You just have the best poker face ever. I don't know. I can't tell. He may be a little bit insane.
I'm gonna snap one day. Well, that's one of the things I say. It's like I don't outwardly express my anger or anything like that. Yeah. So I guess so logically I technically repress it, but then I'm like it doesn't really faze me really. It doesn't affect me really. This bad situation that's happening, it's gonna make me late to work or something, or late.
Well, but there's no point in being upset. I mean, you can be bothered by it, but there's no point in getting upset. It's not gonna help anybody. It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna make you feel any better. I mean, I don't know, punching a pillow or something might help, but it's like all right, and then you're like okay,
great.
Yeah,
once you're done with that, it's like what did that really accomplish? It just directed your anger at something fluffy, so that's good, and not an actual person. But I hated people like that. Like, and you're in customer service, so customers always right, and you can't let them know that you hate the person like to their core because they're being mean to one of your coworkers or something like that. I'm like, but it's sometimes hard. Like sometimes you just have to leave the situation, and I was kind of like not like at the top of management, so I would there's always someone I can go to.
Yeah.
And that would alleviate a lot of people. Like if you say, let me get a manager, he has more power than I do.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's, a lot of these people forget that it's like, you're probably, most of the time, the person you're dealing with is a low man on the totem pole. And it's like, and they're not really specialized in anything. They're not, they don't have any power or anything. And plus, be quite honest, they're probably not getting paid that much. So it's one of those unfortunately, it's one of those that there's only so much, they can reasonably do.
Mm-hmm. And then, manager comes in and he can just say, okay, well, let me send this email. And just because it's coming, even though it's the same thing that I would say, just because it's coming from that guy, it helped the situation a lot. So I'm glad I was never that guy.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an idea of authority. It's something like, because, like think of it. If somebody says, don't go in that door, it's on fire, if it's just a normal person, you'd probably believe him. But if it's a fireman, you definitely go, I'm probably going to believe the fireman. I don't know why he's telling me, it's like, there's more than likely fire in there if the fireman's telling me this. There's something of authority, you know?
Oh, no, and there's been experiments where I don't remember the exact situation, but it's a person in a lab coat with a clipboard and tells someone, like, for this experiment, you have to push this button, and pushing this button would cause an electric shock on this other guy. And they would do it 9 times out of 10. They would just inflict pain just because it's coming from a guy in a
science-looking guy, sure.
In a lab coat and a clipboard. And that's strange to me, but I guess it's just human nature. Like they know what they're talking about. They look like they know what they're talking about. So
social engineering, that's topic of the day, I guess. Definitely. Yeah, I mean that's an idea. I mean, definitely dressing up. Colors that you wear and stuff like that. We're not going to go into that because that's
it's a whole science.
We could talk about that for years. I mean, there's so much on about that. That's psychology and stuff. There's a lot of stuff like that. But
yeah, the pizza guy video, essentially the pizza guy delivered pizza to this business. I think it's like a car dealership or something. In the video I saw, it actually had the name of the business on it. So he delivered the pizza. It was like $42 or something like that. And the people that were paying for it gave him $40 or $50 essentially. So they didn't ask for any change back or didn't say anything when he left. Like whenever he assumed that it was just a tip, so he left. They got real mad, I guess, and called the pizza manager guy and had him bring back out the change. And this is when they videotaped it, or maybe they videotaped the initial one too, but didn't show anything. But they videotaped the second one, and that's what's kind of went viral, of them kind of angrily explaining their situation. It's like, we gave you this extra bill for you to give back to us for some reason, like to get a exact amount of change back or something, and it's just a weird concept. Like usually, like if you give someone like 75 cents over what you paid just so you can get $1 back instead of getting 25 cents back, like that's understandable. But you never give someone like a $5 bill and 75 cents just to get $5 and $1 back.
It doesn't make it.
It was weird, their point and how they explained it. And then the pizza guy, of course, was like, man, I had to waste gas to get over here and things like that inside. So you can tell he was kind of not happy with the situation.
Of course,
But there was nothing that made it out of the ordinary from the guy's perspective.
All it should have been is he should have been like, all right, here's the change. And then, the people should have just been like, okay, thank you. Thank you for correcting the mistake, and then went on their way.
Mm-hmm. But then afterward, like he left, or he was leaving, and the people were like threatening him, and then he like, I will kick your butt and things like that, or I would stick my foot up your butt and things like that. And then he left, and then the guy was like, get that guy's manager on the phone. I want that guy fired.
And that's not a fireable offense. No. He came and corrected it.
And he wasn't. I mean, I would side on them if that pizza guy was visibly angry or hurt something or punched a wall or like threw the money at him or something. But the guy was as nice as you can possibly be on the receiving end of like that abuse.
Yeah.
So they uploaded the video saying like, hey, we just had this angry pizza guy, hoping, I guess, to prove their point or something, but it backfired them completely.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
There's been an outpouring of support on the pizza guy, for the pizza guy. They actually did a GoFundMe account or something like
one of those things.
Fund anything, and got him like like $26,000 or
That's
something
crazy.
like that.
I understand feeling for him, but still, I don't think that's the right recourse. But okay, I mean, if people want to give their money to him, all power to him. You know,
that's what exactly the guy said. There was an interview on this other website. Who went to that pizza place and interviewed him, like a little quick interview, and they asked him, like, what do you feel about this situation? He's like, well, I was just doing my job. It was a bad situation. I handled it like I handle all bad situations. I just wanted to get it over with.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you going to keep the money that they gave you? And it's like, I'm not going to tell people what to do. If people want to give me money, I'm going to take that money.
Yeah, sure. If you want to give it to me, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to give it to me, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And especially if it's for a good reason. I mean, essentially a good reason. Like, he wasn't the bad person in the situation, so people felt sorry for him and for the abuse he had, and some people wanted to donate some money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that a society will do that will stick up for the downtrodden.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good situation, and being from a service standpoint, I know what it feels like to just not have any power in the situation, and just you have to take this abuse.
Yep.
And it's against human nature to be like, and it's against, like, you need to keep your job, so you can't say what needs to be said, so you just have to smile and nod.
Yeah, because I had 4 summers of that at Six Flags, Fiesta, Texas. Oh, the amount of people yelling at me for stuff. That's not my fault. Not my, nothing I can do about it. And it's like, no, I didn't cause it. It's like, why are you yelling at me for the ride broken down? I don't fix it. I know nothing about it. I push the buttons. I didn't break it. What do you want me to do?
This console right here is the extent of what I do.
And it's a couple of buttons. I make sure all your guys' lap bars are restrained, and that's it. It's like, that's all I do. And I push the button and you go. If it breaks down, it breaks down. How long is it going to be? I don't know.
It depends on what's happening, and we're on the situation. We know it's broken, so things are happening in the background.
Yeah, it's
what they are. Like I said, this is my area right here.
Yeah, 'cause, oh man, people get so frustrated, and and it's one of those of, especially like on Saturdays and stuff like that. When it's super hot, people would always just be like in a foul mood. It's like, what? Don't get mad at me. You decided to come on the busiest day of the week, on one of the hottest days in the summer, and decided to go wait in a line for 3 hours. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make the choice. I'm just doing my job. I'm pushing the buttons. I'm it's just, oh man, just the amount of people, especially like height disputes. Oh, that was the worst.
Like their kids are a little bit too short, or they're too.
Because the rule is even if they're like maybe an inch under, we are not supposed to let them on the ride. It's a huge safety concern, and some of the parents are like, and it also made a difference if they had like high heeled shoes and stuff like that, and if they took off the shoes. Because that happened once, where one kid passed the test, but then they took off their shoes, and then I was sitting there operating in the panel, and I looked at the kid, and I saw it, and I was like, wait a second. I was like, check that kid again real quick, and then their height was significantly under too. It was a big amount, and of course the parent got pissed, and I was like, well, look, it's like your child. Do you see? We have this nice little measure bar, and it's one of those. You try to explain it as best as they can. It's like, if I let your child go on, something bad could happen.
Yeah, and we're having this conversation, so the park has no responsibility. You're essentially forcing this to happen, so it'd be on you.
Well, no, that's the issue. Well, it's one of those of like, if I were to knowingly let somebody on the ride that's too short, I would definitely lose my job, and chances are the park would get sued.
And that's why you no matter what, you can't.
Yes.
Okay,
so the rule is if like, that's why all the rides have the little height check stick and stuff like that. Like, if you notice, if you're in front of every ride, there's a huge list of rules, and technically we are supposed to follow every single one of those rules. If you do not follow one of those rules, you are technically not supposed to be allowed on the ride. And it's one of those.
And what would happen if what would happen if a person did not follow one of those rules, but it was just a rule that they didn't know, or something like that, or it was passed by, and then they got hurt? Would it be? I guess it would be the park's fault.
It would. It depends. I mean, there would definitely be a lawsuit, and it would be a big mess. Who would be at fault? It depends on what they do. It's one of those of,
like if they, like, their kid had the higher, taller shoes, and they knowingly put the shoes on so they could ride that ride, and then that kid got hurt for some reason. And
that's kind of hard to tell. Probably definitely. I would think the ride operators would definitely take some of the blame for that, because it's one of those of you can you take 2 seconds. Yeah. You look for somebody who's really close. You look at you're supposed to kind of scan people,
and I'm sure there's
as
some
best
type
as you
of training.
can. Like you're supposed to, as best as you can, you're supposed to be kind of monitoring people and stuff like that. Like there's stuff that you notice, and that takes time to kind of like you can quickly glance at somebody. You look at a kid who's real close, you look at their shoes real quick and go, okay, they're actually that tall, and not wearing 6-inch heels.
Shoes,
yeah.
Yeah, but that's like the worst. The worst kind of people I hate.
Yeah, so don't get mad at ride operators, because they're just doing their job. They're not trying to be jerks. Because like one of the biggest excuses I always got, especially on the bumper cars and stuff like that, because there was really specific rules with that, where if they're a certain height, they can sit in front of the driver's seat. But if they're under a specific height, they can, if they're in between this, this certain range, they can ride, but they have to ride in the passenger seat. Like they can't go in front of the wheel, which is a very obvious reason, because you're going to crash into something. And guess what? Their head is right going to smack into the wheel. It's not going to hit their chest like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
If they're a certain height.
Yeah, well, no,
and so it's an extremely obvious, potentially dangerous thing. And oh my God, people will get so mad at me for it. And then the biggest other thing that I get, well, another ride operator did it earlier. It's like, well, okay, what do you want me to do? I mean, it's one of those of,
this is the rule.
If you can tell me who it is, I'll report it. But it's one of those of, I'm not going to break a rule because somebody else did. It's like, no.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah, it's like, it's like, I understand, I apologize, but they should not have done that, and if you would like to talk to a manager, that's about all I can do. It's like, I'm not, unfortunately, according to the rules, I cannot let your child drive the bumper cars.
And rules like that, like getting mad at a rule like that is dumb. Like, if you think about it, you're like, no, I want to knowingly endanger my kid, so let him drive.
And that's,
It's like these are rules that are made not just because we hate you, it's because we don't want people to get hurt.
It's for safety concerns, because the issue is, it's one of those of, one of the things I always wanted to argue that I never could, because I'd easily lose my job really quick, is think of it. All right, if say, I always wanted to talk to them, say, theoretically, what would happen if your kid did drive and then they smashed their teeth on the darn steering wheel? You're not going to take blame. You're immediately going to sue us. So it's like that right there. Fundamentally, a mixture of safety. Yes, safety is definitely a concern for the ride operators, but also for the park. There's that lawsuit part.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, like a lot of the rules that you ever see on like anything, this goes for every product, that you see a stupid rule that you're like, why is that rule there? I guarantee you, somebody broke that rule and sued them over it. So then they're like, all right, well, okay, this is very stupid, but obviously somebody was stupid enough to do it, so we have to put this rule down.
Yeah, it's like, don't eat the air pocket things in boxes, like Amazon boxes.
Yeah.
It's like those kind of things. Like, yes, okay, I won't eat that.
Like, it's obvious stuff like, hey, don't run next to the roller coaster track. I mean, yeah, you'd be surprised. People need a sign on the fence. It's not like, oh, hey, there's a big giant fence that says do not enter. No, they need a sign, danger, you may die. I mean, it's like, stuff like that.
It's, the people that, I was saying this earlier, the people that get mad at service workers are like some of my like worst people that I hate.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not their fault. They're just doing their job. Anytime I see a person like in a restaurant getting mad at their server for my food's taking too long or such and such, and it possibly could be their fault. Like, they could be a bad server.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had them.
Sure.
But you don't know what's going on in their life and things like that. So it's best.
Sorry, I'm scratching.
I was like, best. The best thing to do is just be nice to them. I mean, be nice to everybody. Of course, you're gonna get mad if it's really bad and it's like not something arbitrary. Talk to a manager and get it righted.
Just try to do it calmly. Yeah, it's one of those of if you've been wronged in a way, give them a chance to fix it. Don't yeah, you could be upset. You could definitely be visibly upset, but don't go overboard. Definitely talk to them, ask for a manager, try to get it fixed. I mean, as long as
it makes everything smoother when you're calm.
And it takes a hell of a lot less time, because when you're mad, now they're sitting there going, crap, Now we have to try to figure out how to calm this person down. And of course, when you start getting mad, this happened a lot at Six Flags, they start requesting unreasonable demands. And you're like, well, we can't do this. You're asking for, just because, we can't, it's like, we can't refund your money. This is not a refundable thing. This is, you're the only one having this issue. This is something that, we'll try to fix. We'll try to help you, but, since you won't calm down, we can't help you.
Yeah.
And actually, it was pretty cool because some of our supervisors and stuff like that, they if people just started yelling, they'd say, all right, real quick, if you want me to help, you need to calm down and we need to talk. Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever saw it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it had to have happened, but there's probably been a few times where they're like, okay, I cannot help you.
Yeah,
you are yelling at me.
In your state, it's not.
I'm not going to be able to help you, so I need to go elsewhere and do something. I guarantee you that's probably happened, and that's unfortunately sometimes you have to. At some point, you just have to say, I cannot help you.
Yeah, no,
you will not. You have to help me help you. You know.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I've had managers where I've been helping a person over the phone or something, and they're like, I need to talk to a manager. So I get them to a manager, and then I stay in the room, kind of just so I can get the phone back and help the person. But I've had times when the person's like yelling at the manager guy, and he was just like, okay, just let's stop for a second and calm down, and we'll get this fixed. And I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm just not that kind of person. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I guess with experience maybe I could, but as of like now, I'm not that kind of person that could just stop, like just yell, or not yell, I mean just curtly just say stop.
See, it's one of those, I learned that real quick at Six Flags because it happened quite often. So I really quickly learned how to deal with somebody yelling at me. And half the time, unfortunately, because I didn't have the power to fix what they were complaining about. It's one of those of, it's like, I'm the ride operator. I just push the buttons. I get paid minimum wage. That's it. That's all I do. So it's one of those. So half the time, of course, unfortunately, it was call a manager. Just be like, all right, I can't waste any more time dealing with this because I can't do anything. So I'm like, all right, let me call a manager. They will have more power to help you out. And then usually, luckily, a lot of the time, I'd say, okay, if you just wait over there in the corner, I'll have the manager come. I'll talk to him, and then they'd talk to him, and they'd ask both sides or whatever of what happened, and then usually the manager would be able to solve it.
Yeah,
and it's one of those, man,
Yeah, and like the number one weapon in my arsenal, other than calling a manager, which I didn't like going to that step because it meant you can't handle a situation. It's just kill them with kindness. Just take whatever they're giving at you and just do what you need to do. Like just explain as much as you can. If they're confused about something, just explain it in ridiculous detail that they don't need to know, but just them having that information will help them most of the time. So I've put out some fires, but it's just I hate it so much. Like in my mind, I'm like double as mad at them.
Oh yeah,
than
I mean
what they are.
We're not showing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, definitely. It's hard to come up with a straight. This is how you should do it all the time. It's kind of a case by case basis. But I mean, it's that's why I'm glad I'm not in service anymore, because it's like I hate that saying the customer is always right. It's like it depends. A lot of the times, actually, it's not true.
Yeah, the customers need to feel that they're right.
That's actually an interesting point, and that's absolutely right. Sometimes you just have to kind of let them think they got you, and you're like, yeah, no, secretly we've won. We're just not telling you we won. Or like we found a way to circumvent your issue and solve it another way.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, so that kind of that video kind of resonated, like I said, with me, just because I've been in that situation and it sucked. So I'm glad that at least it's getting awareness that it's things like that happen.
Yeah.
Because and the fact that it went viral shows there's a lot of good people that recognize that that's bad.
Yeah.
Like the people in that video that posted it, like, are oblivious to like what is happening in the situation. It's just
yeah. Some people lose their cool. Like that's probably the same people who do like road rage and stuff like that. That's definitely like, ooh.
Yeah, those I guess it's because I'm not like that at all. Like I will never get mad at someone, and I've never been in a situation where I was like, really mad at them.
Yeah.
I can maybe a couple times when like at that job, like but not at customers or anything, but like at
Sure.
a coworker
Yeah.
who wasn't doing their job. I'm like, there's customers out there. Can you go and help one of them? And they just didn't. So I was like, come on, they're waiting. And like, but even then I didn't get mad. I was just really annoyed at them. I've never gotten to that point where I get angry at someone.
For me, it's been very few. It's one of those of it was just one of those of the one time I really got pissed off at somebody. It was years of being bothered, and I was just like, all right, screw this, I'm done. You know, that was not fun. I'm not going to go into details about that. That was not. That's more of a personal thing. That's just like, very few times I've ever got really pissed off at somebody.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's got to be really bad, and I can't even imagine a situation where I'd get visibly mad at someone, even if like I've been in in a car accident, not really where anybody got hurt or the cars really got that damaged, but like I'm turning and I have my turn signal on and I'm turning into this place, and the person that should have waited for me to turn like still went and like hit the back side of my car, and like I was just like, this is ridiculous. I don't get their frame of mind where they're like, all right, it's that person's still turning, I'm gonna go now, and hits me. So I would get annoyed at that, but I'm like, come on, I had my turn signal on and there wasn't really anything wrong. Like it dented my fender, but it was like one of the carbon whatever material,
the plastic or whatever,
plastic. So it just popped back, and there's like a little scuff, and it was their fault. So I don't know what their car didn't really have any damage either. No one was hurt. So I was just like, just be more observant next time, you jerk. But didn't say that.
Yeah.
But like something like that where, and I guess it wasn't that big of a deal because it wasn't that big of a crash. I didn't get visibly angry. Just like I tried to go like the parent route. It's like I'm not angry at you, but I'm just disappointed.
I am bothered. Yeah, you have inconvenienced me.
Yeah, I want you to know that this was dumb on your part.
Yeah.
I guess passive aggressive.
Sure, I guess that's
And even that, I hate people that are passive aggressive too.
It depends. So. There's a limit if you do it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people at work here.
It's like, what's bothering you? Nothing. It's like there's obviously something bothering you.
Or like you ask them something and they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, just figure it out and tell me now. Don't. It's not funny. Or people that their sense of humor is just off.
I'll do it every once in a while to make fun of people because they'll be sitting in front of a computer and they'll ask me something. And I'm like, there's Google right in front of you. It's usually when I don't know. It's like I'll just make a joke about it. I usually try not to be an ass. If I can help, I'll usually help. It's just there's times where I can't help, and then when people ask me repeatedly for stuff that I can't help, that's when I start getting bothered. Because it's like, well, I told you the first time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Eventually, after they ask me a few times, I just say, all right, fine, I'll friggin' look it up. And then I was like, all right, now I know. It's like, okay, it shouldn't have been you who figured this out, not me, but all right.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just sucks that there's people like that. How we doing on time? We can a little bit longer?
A little bit more.
Okay.
It's like another 5 minutes or so.
I was just looking at my rundown, and I remember there is a story that I really wanted to talk to you about.
All right.
Of course, it's cut off, but Florida housemates play games nonstop for 500 consecutive days.
Oh, my God.
So I'm going to pull up the story because I don't remember all the details, but it's essentially that they, like, stream them playing games, but it's like work for them. So It's like they have shifts, like 8-hour shifts of just playing games nonstop.
Wow.
And they've done it for 500 consecutive days.
Jeez.
Could you ever? I mean, I guess if it's your job.
If I'm getting paid to do it, can I do it?
And they're getting it's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like it's on Twitch, and it's called Streamer House. Like I said, I don't want to look it up, but from what I remember, it's called Streamer House, and it's just a bunch of his roommates. I don't know exactly how many, maybe 5, because they said it was like 8-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So, or not 5. That doesn't make sense for a 24-hour day. 3.
Oh,
yeah. Whatever it is.
However many people there are, they're doing 8-hour shifts.
And they've been playing for this long, and I don't know. They're getting paid with ads and stuff like sponsored stuff, and so they're getting the minimum to pay off their rent or whatever expenses they have. but I don't know, 8 hours of gaming.
I could do 8 hours of gaming in a row. Could I do 8 hours of gaming like every single day or every other day? No.
I guess
that's too much for me.
Yeah,
I mean, I would probably get through my backlog of games really damn quick. I mean, but just, you know, 'cause I usually try to not do 8-hour gaming sessions anymore. I mean, I've done that or watch anime. I've done it for like, you know, 4 or 5 hours. That I can easily do, but like 8 hours, I'm like, that's starting to get a little too much.
I mean, it is their job though. I mean, they're getting paid for it. Not as much as like an actual job. I don't think. I think it's like lower than minimum wage, but it's enough to continue doing it. To continue doing exactly. And I mean, it's like any job that's like from 9 to 5 or whatever an 8-hour day is. People that are like into games are like, I would much rather be doing this than
that sounds fun, but then for me, is what I've kind of realized is some of that stuff that you love to do, the second you turn it into a job, it just becomes not as entertaining anymore. Because you're like, great, you know, I used to do this just for fun, but now I'm doing it as a job. Now I'm doing it because I have to. I'm not doing it to relax anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like that with any job, really. Even jobs that you like.
Yeah.
Like this job, it's cool to see like the behind the scenes process of like what goes on TV and things like that, and like what goes into it. But then like fast forward a year, you're like, this is all.
I've seen it all. Yeah. It's the same, you know, you learn that it's a routine, and then you. I mean, it depends on what job it is, because you know, for camera, it's like there's only so much you can do. That's when you start wanting. You're like, I want a show where it's like I can just, you know, I can just go off and do whatever camera shots I want. But unfortunately, there's really. Unless you do your own little side projects, there's not much you can do.
But yeah, 500. They were saying it's like a dream of theirs, but unfortunately, with what they need to do to continue this dream, like they don't have vacations. Because they have to I guess they want to do this where it's 24-hour gaming, but so like they can't leave. They can't stop doing it. I mean, of course they can, but to do this, what they want to do is they can't. So, like he hasn't gone on vacation and he says for 500 days, so over a year with no vacation, no breaks, like
you'd have to do it
every day 8 hours. That's, I mean, even though it is playing games, but like you said, playing games can get repetitive or whatnot, or you have to be like, and streamers, like you have to be on the whole time. You can't. You have to make it interesting. Like you can't just spend 8 hours in silence, like dead, just playing a game.
Some kind of do, but it depends. I mean, I've seen some of the more popular ones. They sometimes kind of go a little bit quiet. You know, they'll talk a little bit, but it depends. It varies from streamer to streamer.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I haven't seen any of it. I just saw that headline. And I was like, whoa.
That's nuts.
It was a little bit less. The headline kind of blows it out of proportion. Like, gamer has been playing a game for 500 days straight, and you're like, oh god.
I love video games, man. You know, I usually play a couple hours, you know, on a daily basis. If I can squeeze in an hour or two, I'll play something. But it's just 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
Ooh, thank you.
We'll get the link and
too much
put
of a
it
good
up there.
thing.
Yeah, that's like a dream gone bad. Like that's like a Twilight Zone twist type thing where it's like, I wish I could play video games as a job.
Yeah,
and then like fast forward to that.
Or it's one of those of like Simpsons when they did like Homer Simpson Hell or whatever, and they're like feeding him all the donuts and stuff like that. It's like that where you're like, I like this, but you're like, it's too much.
Too much of a good thing.
Too much.
Yeah, so that's crazy. I mean, I guess. It's got to suck. I mean, it's got to be good for some ways, but overall, I would think it's negative.
Because having to do that all the time to support yourself, you're like, nah, I'd rather have a job where I get 2 days off and I can still support myself.
Even if it's,
It may not be my dream job, but man, if it pays the bills and I can
have
rest
some downtime
and play video games for fun, you know,
video games.
Maybe finally make some video, some video game videos and stuff like that. You're like, make it fun, have some time to edit stuff,
Yeah, make it
explore some new boundaries,
Exactly. Let's see, we've gone about 45 minutes. Anything else you want to talk about? I think it's a pretty good time to wrap up.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good time to wrap up. Not too much. I mean, it's like, heck, if you guys come to PAX South, enjoy it, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
Maybe drunk. I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
Just on the convention floor, just
I
with
mean-
a bottle of vodka.
I'd definitely make it fun.
Just
Like, oh,
knocking
man.
over displays. You
like-
come back, you don't come back. You like find out you've been arrested.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I hope not. It's like, I don't plan to do that.
Just make
But,
it memorable, man. It might be the
man.
only one.
I don't know. If
Go crazy.
That'd be probably too much. That's another one of those good, too much of a good thing type deals. So,
But
so that'll be fun. Yeah, I definitely plan on taking a camera with me, so I'll try to get at least some pictures.
Yeah.
I may get a little bit of video because my DSLR camera does video. It's not going to be as good as the camera we're using now, because I don't want to lug that thing right now. With especially if I'm I have friends with me, but they're not video production friends, so they
They're going there strictly for fun.
Yeah, so it's one of those, if I don't want to task one of them with holding equipment, like, you're my mic, you hold it the specific way and just stand there for the next 20 minutes.
I know you want to go see that specific panel, but we really need to get some coverage of this display over here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't want to do that to them. If I'm going to do it, I'll grab Jimmy or somebody and I'll lug him around.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I've never been to. I've been to an anime convention here, San Japan. I've been to that, but I wasn't really interested in anything anime, really.
Yeah, anime conventions, unless you're going with a group of friends, I don't know. For me, I have to go with other people. I can't go by myself. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have to go with friends, and you have to do the plan out the panels and stuff like that. I mean, that's a talk for another day.
Yeah. So a lot of cool things happening. So I guess that's going to be the end of the episode. Be nice to service people.
Yes. Do not take off the people who serve your food. Never a good idea.
That's a terrible idea.
I'd love to give people the benefit of the doubt that they wouldn't do anything to your food, but unfortunately, with human nature, there are people who will screw with your food. So do not do it to anybody.
Yeah.
Just be nice to people.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Like,
be nice to everybody.
Yeah. Like
if they're being asked to you,
evil.
just be nice to them.
Kill them with kindness.
It's one of those, if it's only a fight if both parties hit each other. You know, and I guess you can kind of think of it that way. You know, if one person,
just takes like the rope-a-dope. Just let them tire themselves out.
Yeah,
while they're punching you.
Yeah, as long as just try not to feel the fire anymore as best as you can. Be nice to people.
Exactly. That's a good motto for life.
Yeah.
Be nice.
It's
Don't
everybody.
be a jerk. Why be a jerk when you can be nice?
Sure.
But yeah, that's our episode. What was it? 48.
48. Yeah.
Episode 48. Thinking
48.
Outside the Pod. ThinkingOutsideThePod.com. You'll find all of our social media links. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, all that. And real quick, I did do some. Some flyers. I have some. I have some flyers out there. So if you got a flyer in LA or New York or Toronto, Chicago, Florida, I think get it at 6 cities or something like that. If you found a flyer from Thinking Outside the Pod from there, let us know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
I would love to know that it worked.
I saw the flyers; they look cool. It's one of those of I'm like, okay, I guess if this is something people do nowadays, I don't know.
I use the site.
Sounds interesting.
Use the site called Fiverr, and it's just people that will do some type of service for $5, and you can add extra features to it and you pay more. But there's people that would hand out flyers for it. So
that'd be cool. Yeah, if anybody's listening that got a flyer, let us know. I mean, that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
Just some feedback, because it's cool to know that at least our name is out across the country. So that's about it. Episode 48 of Thinking Outside the Pod.
All right, bye guys. Thanks for watching our video, guys.
Before you leave, don't forget to rate and subscribe so you'll be informed for all of our future updates.
Make sure you visit our social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, or visit the website, thinkingoutsidethepod.com. All the links will be in the description below.